I tell you this, the Romans never conquered the Forest of Dean because they were afraid to go into the forest to fight. And the second reason why they didn't do it was because the Celts used to meet in the forest to worship God. That's the next thing.
You said about a Welsh preacher came from there.
Oh yes, his name was... Who was the Welsh preacher?
Evan Roberts, but it's not him.
No, I'm going back to the Christian, to the first century. Betus was it? Oh yes, Betus. Sometimes pronounced Beatus. Beatus. He went to Helvetia in the 50s, the AD 50s. He went to Helvetia. Now what's the present name for Helvetia?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, that's right. He went to Switzerland and he sailed across Lake Thun and he pushed the boat into Lake Thun and into the water's edge. And he preached the gospel there. And then he had quite a following, so they met in a cave. And that cave was the foundation of Beatenberg, which is named after him. And Beatenberg is about a mile away from the edge of Lake Thun. So if you go to Lake Thun at any time, you go and have a look at Beatenberg. I've been there. And the cave's still there, where Beatus preached from. So we were sending missionaries out in the continent and everything. Any more questions before we move on and look at something else?
No, we just wondered, I've got the answer now, I wondered where Battenberg was.
Battenberg?
The cake.
There is a place called Battenberg.
I didn't catch that. What was that?
She wanted to know where Battenberg was. I said that's a cake.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Battenberg. I've just had one, Mary, and it's,
Battenberg!
and it's 4 square.
Different colours.
Right. Who's going to walk with me on the sand? Come on.
That we go.
Under the sea, are we? Quite strong. I've left my camera in
Whenever he starts talking, he's getting a group.
Yes, I can see it.
Now you can see an island over there. Can you see the point on the island?
Yeah.
That is Lou Island.
If we go down a bit further, we might better get a little bit more in.
Just further up.
So over there you have Lou Island. Over there, that's Lou Island. If we did have time, we could have taken the coach round there to see it clearly. Let me just explain a bit about Lou Island. On one occasion when Jesus was coming with Joseph and Jesus were coming to Lou here, they would come in along the edge there to the island and you get off over here. But it was so bad, the weather was so bad, that they couldn't come into the harbour here. So what they did, they went and shipped over there on the island. And the weather that winter was so bad that for 3 months they were on the island. There were people on that island that looked after them a bit, but then over the last 2,000 years, Blue Island has had 5 different names. 5 different names, but it's gone back to the original again now, and it's New Island again. Because that's the river Loo that comes into Roos. That's where it gets its name from. And Jesus would come with Joseph here because that was the safest way to come in from the continent. Right. They would come in here, land at Loo, and then go straight north, and they would go to Padstow in the north. Padstow in the north. Then they would catch another vessel, and they would sail up to near Weston-super-Mare. When they got up to near Weston-super-Mare, there was a place there called Uphill, U-P-H-I-L-L. There's an old Celt church there, and that's where the tidal waters used to come in, about 7 or 8 miles, twice a day, sometimes 6 to 8 feet deep. In fact, the water was so deep that Phoenician vessels from way back 2500 BC could come in there. And I did a lot of research in that area and actually found the old Phoenician harbour, some of the foundations, because how I knew was because in the Red Roof Antiquarian Library of Cornwall, there are all ink drawings of those early places. You know, like they used to, didn't take photographs, they did ink drawings. And one of those ink drawings I'm going to show you, you're going to see something that is yet to be archaeological history in England. And I'm not being exaggerated when I say that. Let me explain. The king of this area was Arvigarus or Arvigarus, depends which way you want to pronounce it. He was the king of this area, and this area stretched as far as Winchester. And what happened was, when Joseph landed and came in at Uphill, having travelled by... Well, let me just tell you one other thing. Up in Padstow, and I was privileged to find this as well, there is a well there that is called the Jesus Well. This is Padstow. When I first found it, it was right in the middle. In fact, I'll tell you what, there's a little church there that's almost buried in sand. You can't get into it. Half the church is buried in sand. Okay. But they've kept it there because it's a feature. Next to it, there is a golf course that was built, I'd say, about 20 years ago. A new golf course. The reason why I know is this. I used to take groups to see the Jesus Well. It's a beautiful, ornate well with texon and everything. And it was there where Joseph would take up fresh water to take them through to Uphill and beyond to Pilton, which is beyond Glastonbury. And they take fresh water at that well, because it is fresh water. I've drunk out of that well, I can guarantee it's fresh water. But now it's in the middle of a golf course. So when I took my folk last time, we said, where's the well gone? We couldn't find it, it's in the middle of this golf course. So we started walking in the direction, and then golf balls came flying in. And the next minute, the manager of the course came up to me in his little buggy, and he said, sir, he said, I hope you don't mind, but it happens, dare I say it happens to be the ladies' day of golf. And the balls are going everywhere. So, take a shelter here, because he said, I know what's where they're shooting for. So we sheltered for a while. And then he said, I suppose you're looking for the well. I said, yes, please. So he took us to the well. And it's a beautiful well. And it's called the Jesus Well. What amazes me is you go to Padstow, and you ask anybody on the street, where's the Jesus Well? Nobody's heard of it. Now, Padstow had a very famous monk there called St. Petroc, P-E-T-R-O-C, Petroc. And St. Petroc was the founder of Bodmin, where we're going. We're near to there tonight to stay at manor house. So Bodmin, they thank God. Now, the ancient Celt church there, which I'll show you sometime if we've got time to do it, the ancient Celt church there always welcomes my exhibition. I bring it there and it's received with open arms, which is wonderful really. And because that exhibition is all about what I'm telling you about. Photographs, pictures, stories and everything. And people come from miles to see it. It's been passed by the Ministry of Education, by the way, so it has an official standing. It certainly does. So that's Lou Island, and on Lou Island, as you can see, there's a big hedge there, look, it's just there on the corner. And when the boy Jesus and Joseph landed on Lou Island to take shelter, they sheltered under the big hedge. And that's the story or the legend. They sheltered under the big hedge because this hedge was there. Now, it was owned by two lovely Christian elderly ladies. But a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, one of the ladies passed away and went to be with the Lord. And she stayed there on Lou Island for a while, but found that it was very lonely, really. Now let me explain the thing about Lou Island. Between the mainland and Lou Island is not much water, but the water that is between the two is very treacherous. And I understand that early Christian pilgrims during what you call the pilgrimage period, 650 AD to 950 AD, 300 years. We'll talk about that while I'm down with you. The pilgrimage period, because it was through the pilgrimage period and what happened that we have the banking system today, so it's all part of what's happening today, basically. And what happened was that Christian pilgrims, first of all, on Lou Island, they built a little Celt church, which was to commemorate Joseph and Jesus being on Lou Island during the storm. Okay, there's a Celt church for that. So people used to go across on little boats to the Celt church and give thanks to God for sending Joseph of Arimathea and the boy Jesus. But it was so tragic that Christians actually drowned going across. So the church of the monks of those days said, we can't have that. We'll build another little church exactly the same on the mainland. So you've got a church on the mainland and a church on Lou Island, and they're exactly the same. So that the Christians that didn't want to go across the water and risk their lives could worship the Lord on the island. On this side, not on the island. So there's a lot of history about things like that, and it makes it very interesting when you do the research on it.
Where is the church on the mainland?
It's opposite the island. If you go round to the island, can you see the church there on the island? Can you see the church on the island? Sticking up there. Well, there's a church on the mainland, Mr. Sellers. But that's round the corner. You've got to go round the corner. We haven't got time to do it. Well, the tide comes low. Even then,
Where the waves are.
Right now, any questions? Any more questions? Okay. Have you retained all that? So basically, what we're saying is this, that Baronius, the Vatican librarian, recorded in the Vatican that Joseph of Arimathea and 12 companions came from the Jerusalem area, sailed across the Mediterranean, landed at Marseille, and amongst them was